What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and this is your Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Part 2 recap. So, we jump right into Mary's story. First, before I get into Mary's story, I have to say that, go ahead and subscribe, and comment, and let the diva know you stopped by, okay? So, I have to say this before we get into Mary's story, is that I don't appreciate that they went through Mary's story and flushed everything out and asked her all the damn questions at the reunion when they did not spotlight her enough in the series. I don't appreciate that. Okay? Because normally you are asking questions based on what's presented in the season. None of what we went through Mary's story in the reunion was not displayed to us on screen. So I think that's messed up. So let's get into it. Mary's story. She talks about taking out her odor glands because she has some type of ailment that created boils underneath her skin, the size of eggs, she said. And so she had to have surgery. And because it was such a traumatic experience, that the smell of hospitals does something to her. It triggers her. All right. So then we talk about Jen's aunt and how she was so dismissive in her interview, saying that she could have just drank water. She said it because she was aggravated. She had no excuse to say it. And so Andy asked Jen, what was your trigger to make you go off like that based on what she said? And she said, I was never at the hospital. Now, I don't know why they didn't play. I didn't know why they didn't play, but I believe that Jen said that she was at the hospital earlier that day. That's what I felt like I heard. I don't care enough to go back and look for that, but I believe that that's what she said. So then she said, I did apologize to you. And Jen was like, no, you didn't. She was like, yes, I did. I did apologize to you. They rolled the tape of her apologizing. And she did apologize. They hugged. And she said the only reason why she accepted her apology is because they were at the party. She said, okay, well, then don't say I didn't apologize. Say you didn't accept it. Okay. I remember that same exchange happening between Phaedra and Cynthia, when she kept saying that Cynthia didn't apologize, but she did apologize. And she said the same exact thing. Don't say I didn't apologize. Say I didn't accept it. Win a case. Okay, but this is not about Atlanta. This is about Salt Lake City. This is about Salt Lake City. So Mary says, I'm not about to kiss your butt. So I already apologized. We're not about to keep doing that over and over again. Then they get to the 7-Eleven comment, or the convenience store comment, and asked her, was she afraid of men standing in front of the store? She said she didn't say that, but then she admitted that she said that at the brunch, or whatever that was. And then Meredith chimes in, and Meredith says, I don't think it had anything to do with race. I think it had more to do with safety than it did to do with race. Hello? I mean, what woman, first of all, and I'll just tell you this, I don't give a fuck who you married to, and I don't give a fuck what color dick you hop up and down on, but you will not get to sit in a black woman's face and remind her that she's black, no matter how colorist she is, no matter nothing. Bitch, you're out of order. That's number one, because I would have let Jen have it. Bitch, you don't get to remind me I'm black. And we have several stories about women being attacked just recently in Harlem by men standing outside in front of a damn convenience store. So don't tell me that she doesn't have a right to say, I don't feel comfortable going to a convenience store where there's a bunch of men hanging out in front of it. Black men, white men, Asian men, I don't give a fuck. Men are dangerous. And so you don't go around, a woman single should not be questioning another woman about her safety. Fuck Jen with that. That's all I got to say about that. Then we get into, because Andy was like, black guys. And she was like, then we get into Mary jumbling over words. And like I said on Twitter, for her to be a pastor, typically pastors or people who speak in front of large crowds have a way around words and a way with words. And Mary could not seem to get a grasp on syllables and word. I was like, Mary, what? I was like, girl, what are you saying? She was saying that she did not like dark skin, but we know that Mary is colorist because obviously there's signs of bleaching and things. I don't know if she bleaches allegedly, but she looks a completely different color. However, she was trying to say that she didn't like dark skinned guys and she was more attracted to light skinned guys. And then they asked her, and Andy was like, so is Robert Sr. biracial? And she was like, no. And he was like, he's black? He's black. But she was talking about his complexion. So clearly she was like, he's white. I was like, Mary, what the hell? And then she tells Jen, isn't your husband a racist? Then Jen is like, don't say that. Don't say that. Be careful what you say on TV. Be careful what you say on TV. It's so weird how these people can come after you, but when you say something that can be equally as damaging, now all of a sudden I was supposed to maintain decorum. Girl, no, no. Isn't your husband racist? And I don't know what she meant by that. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It's because maybe, I don't know. The only thing that I could think of that she was trying to say is he's not married to a black woman. So he's racist. I don't know what she was talking about. Y'all get down in the comments and let me know what you thought Mary was talking about when she said that Jen's husband wasn't he a racist? Because I was like, what, Mary? Anyways, Mary says maybe she needs to improve on how she says things. As a pastor, I would think, as a leader of a church and people who speak in front of people, I would think she would have a better grasp on words. I was a little disappointed. I was really disappointed. Not a little. I was like, Mary, what are you saying right now, girl? Get it together. So then she says, I love all black men. I just want to let everybody know I love my culture. Don't even question me. Nobody has questioned me. She said, and then she looked at Jen. She was like, you had no right saying that or doing that. I just didn't like when Jen did that. So that y'all already know how I feel about that. Ask Jen, why does she get mad when the people stick up for Mary? Jen, do what you want. What? Say? Oh, do you want to say sorry? Okay. So do you want to say sorry for calling Mary a grandfather fucker? I also did not like the way that Andy was calling Robert Sr. her step granddaddy. I didn't like that either. I was like, Andy, you ain't shit. Andy, you ain't shit. She was like, so Jen said she was heated and she was drunk. And then she was like, okay, do you want to, because she didn't apologize. And it was like, do you want to apologize? And then Mary was like, see, I can say your apology is insincere. And Andy was like, just let her get it out. So she said she finally did say she was sorry about that. But then they were like, you were really mean to her. She was like, what? What did I say? What did I say, baby? They showed her tweets, had talked about her. They said that it was very cruel. That's how they described it. That how she was coming on her tweets. And I believe at the beginning that Jen was just tweeting first everything, because she retweeted me a couple of times. She retweeted other people because I think she was like, oh my God, they like me, they like me, they like me. And then she probably saw all the criticisms of Mary. And so she was like, okay, well, let me talk about Mary so I can get the engagement. And she went too far. Like the Christmas tree was funny because she looked like a Christmas tree. That was funny. But then when you get to this is how it started, this is how it is now, and then you were just out of order. Like, and I'm glad they called her out on it. I'm glad they did. I'm glad Heather, because Heather was like, no, you were cruel. And then she was like, it's a double standard. You don't stick for me, honey. We've been dealing with your shit all season. They're not letting you get away with shit, but Meredith, Lisa is really sticking up for Jen, really sticking up for Jen. And so they get into the conversation about being scared of Jen, right? They asked Mary, like, what happened? She was like, again, it was like really weird. Did they say it? Is that how you felt? Did they say something to you? She wasn't really clear enough for me. And Meredith nor Lisa wasn't really vocal about saying that they didn't say it, especially Meredith. I noticed that. I was like, Meredith isn't really protesting. She was like, only thing Meredith was like, I do remember saying that. What did she say? I do remember saying that she was hard to be around or something Meredith said. Y'all got to remind me. Meredith said something, but it was like I don't remember saying I was scared of her, but I do remember saying something about her behavior in that sense. Not exactly like that. But it was like every time we say Mary, you freak out. You do freak, and she does. And then Jen denied. She was like, no, I don't. Girl, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Just you do. Just and it's like I don't understand how the hell y'all be denying shit and there's 16 cameras around y'all. Like, do you really get that comfortable? I know that they do, and then add a little alcohol or whatever, and you really forget that there's cameras and there's men. And then the way that they dress, you really can't really see them because they really wear all black. You can't really see them. Very rarely do you see them. I'm going to talk about, never mind. I'm not going to, very rarely do you see them. But my thing is, how do you say, no, I didn't say that? And then they're like, roll the tapes. Even Meredith, I keep saying Meredith, but I mean Lisa. Even Lisa was like, roll the tapes, roll the tapes. She wanted to get her time, honey. She thought she was going to have it. Every time they only did it once when she said that. And she was still wrong. But she kept saying, roll the tapes. Shut up, Lisa. Shut your ass up. Did they say it? No, I didn't, but they believe that they are. She was like, I didn't say they said it, but I believe that's how they feel. I was like, Mary, that's who everybody should have been on is Mary's ass about that, because nobody admitted to saying it, but their actions, and even Heather was like, girl, you are clearly scared of you. I'm not scared. I'm not scared talking to Lisa. Lisa and Heather, baby, they had it out. I was like, let me wait till I get to that part. Then Heather, what's her name? Lisa. Whitney and Heather, bad weather, create a tornado. I was like, girl, you had all of this planned out, and I'm sure that she did. Because, girl, what the fuck? I was like, Lisa, shut your ass up. And then I think Heather was like, girl, I hope that sticks. I like it's a hashtag. Baby, Heather was on their ass. She did not give a fuck. When she told Lisa, I don't want to move forward with you. I'm good. I was like, okay, these bitches is not coming to play. Oh my God, it was so funny. Okay, anyway, Lisa is not friends with anyone. That's what Heather said. And it's like, Lisa, I didn't understand what Lisa was so amped up about. I just didn't get it. I was like, girl, calm the fuck down. Literally, calm down. She was so amped. And it was like, she was taking everything personally. It was weird. I was like, Lisa, you need to get your shit together. And then Lisa started to get into it, baby. And at one point, I was like, did they go to lunch? And they were still arguing? Like, that wasn't even part of the reunion. Is that whole time Lisa and Heather were going back and forth? That wasn't even a part of the reunion. Andy was just sitting there like, I'm just going to let them talk together. Meredith's like, Andy, what is it, Andy? Are you tired of this? He was like, this is my life. I don't fucking care. Let these bitches. I done seen it all. I done heard it all. Andy is sitting there in his phone like, la-di-da. They arguing back and forth. He's not even looking up at them. That's like a fucking, that was so funny to me. I was like, Andy is over it. That's why the shit was so long, because they was fucking arguing. And then when Lisa started walking away, he was like, what? Why are you walking away? Like, why aren't you coming back? It was funny. Meredith let it be known, like, listen, y'all don't know me and what's going on between me and my husband. It's none of your business, basically. Whatever's happening between me and my husband, it's none of your business. Anyone saying anything about my family, none of your business. It's none of your business. So they get back to Mary. They asked Mary, was there a will, right, to marry her husband? And then she says that her grandmother wanted her to take her place. She wanted her to take her place. And I was like, Mary, girl, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why you can't get a grasp on your words. I have no clue. I don't know what's going on, but I need more. I need you to be clear with how you communicate. I need you to just talk, like, be clear. So she was like, her grandmother had already told her, right? And Robert didn't know. Robert was also 20 years she was 20 years Robert's senior, just like she's 20 years, he's 20 years her senior. And she said they prayed about it for 2 years. And she felt like because she robbed his youth, that he, I guess, could get it from a younger person. I was like, girl, what the hell? Okay. Then Andy says, well, wouldn't your mom have been a more suitable choice based on the age difference? And she said her grandmother had already made the arrangements. So there's something there with that, because I would really like to know. So it seems like there's like a rift or something between the mom, the grandmother, or whatever. But she talked about the family having all of these businesses and how her family helps her clean her house. Andy was looking like, girl, what the hell? And she was like, I'd rather have my family clean my house than some strangers. But apparently they are related to her grandmother. She was like, they helped me and I helped them. She also told us that she was married before, ended in divorce. She was about 19 or 20. She said everybody in Utah gets married early. So it's normal. And then Andy, which I thought was out of order, I did not think that it was appropriate for him to ask her, or do they still sleep together? I didn't think that that was appropriate, and I wish that she would not have answered that. I wish she would have said, that is too personal. Okay, you wait until I'm ready to tell you. You don't ask me no questions like that. Wait until I let you know. I just didn't like that. And then she says she's really happy. She gets emotional. And then she compares the love that he has for her by buying her like all the designer things that I have. Robert bought for me. Robert bought for me, right? And I'm like, okay, Mary, okay. But she says that we're happy. We have a beautiful family. They don't sleep in the same rooms. You know, my grandparents didn't sleep in, my paternal grandparents did not sleep in the same room until my grandfather had Alzheimer's. But, they just did not sleep in the same room. I actually think that is a good formula, especially if you have been together for a very, very long time. I believe that it does allow a person privacy. It does allow a person their own space. If you do, if you're able to have, like, you meet up and go in one person's bedroom, the other person leaves when it's all said and done. No, it's not to say that you can't be intimate. It's not to say that you can't sleep together when you want to sleep together, but to be able to have your own space like that, I am here for it. I encourage it. I think it's great. They asked her about saying that their congregation was poor and stingy, and she tried to explain. What I gathered from the words that she said was that she was trying to tell them that they need to get out of their poverty mind, right? But she was saying on the recording that I heard, y'all didn't buy me no gifts. Y'all, I think she was like, y'all didn't buy me no gifts. Y'all stingy. Y'all poor. That's why y'all poor. And I'm thinking to myself, she's saying that's why you poor, because you operate from a place of lack and you have a poverty mindset. That's what I thought she was saying, but I'm not sure. But she was saying, like, we don't live like that. We're not supposed to live with a poor poverty mindset. Andy asked her, is your church a cult? Do people say that your church is a cult? And she says, yeah, but it's no different than the Mormon church. It's no different from a lot of these religions that allow people to feel like they have a mission, right? And they feel it can become, it is a cult. We are all following this one doctrine with this mission to whatever save the people of the world, and you have this one mission, and that's how it goes. And it can be a cult. Some leaders go the wrong direction, like in a Jim Jones, but they had a goal and they wanted to. That's how the thing started. Look at Wild Wild Country on Netflix with Osho. It's the same exact thing. People had one common goal, and you just get wrapped up in this thing. And because the way that your body responds to community like that, it responds in the same way as a someone addicted to drugs. It's the same body. Your body responds in the same way, and you go back to church. That's why people stay at church, because they get that sense of community and it feels good, and it can become very cult like. So she was like, it ain't no different from the Mormon church, and this ain't no different. And then like Lisa kind of jumped in on that, but it's truly, it ain't no different. It ain't no different. A church can be a cult. Just the cults are just the word. People have a negative connotation to that word. She also wanted to talk about how they were using money taking from the church, and she said, "Let me tell you something. My lifestyle my church could not afford me my lifestyle. My money comes from Robert, and that is, I guess, all of the things that they own, all of the property that they own, all of the restaurants, all of these other things that they own. That's where their money comes from." I was like, okay. He was like, "Do you, are you, did you get your grandmother's inheritance?" And she was like, "Yes." "Did y'all get it?" "Yes." That's the reason why she wanted to make sure that that money and that wealth stayed in the family. As crazy as hell. See, the thing for me where it was like, it was a little weird is actually producing a child. I can see in paperwork, right? In paperwork to say, on paper, we are going to put you married with Mary so that we don't lose none of the stuff that I built. Okay? That's what we're going to do. I don't care whatever the hell y'all do outside of that. Y'all can go on and live your lives. But on this paper here, that's what I was like, okay. But the fact that they actually consummated their marriage and produced a child, that is where it was like, okay, that's a little weird. Because, you know what I'm saying? But it's a very interesting story. People have so many interesting stories. And she seems to be happy. I don't think that anything she did in terms of, it's not even my place to say. They asked her, I think her mother, she said her mother was upset. So I think there's some word on the street and people in the blogs talking about her family doesn't really approve of, they have like different churches and stuff like that. They asked Mary and Jen, could they let bygones be bygones? And Jen said, "I can." And Mary said, "I'm sorry, but I was really hurt with you." And she said, "Well, we can start a clean slate." And so they said, okay, so we'll see. We'll see. They're going to start a new slate. But I feel like what Jen was so bent out of shape about the hospital comment was that she didn't even take into account that this woman has, because our memories are really attached to our sense of smell, period. That's the end of the story, okay? And so when a memory that is bad based on what you smell, no one took that into account. Like, you were upset because she said you smell a hospital. Yeah, that's kind of rude, but she's triggered, and the smell of hospital triggers a negative emotion. So she doesn't want to smell it, okay? So nobody ever were like, that's fucked up. I'm sorry that you had that. It was only, "Jen, oh my God, you're mad because somebody said you smell like a hospital." And then you come to the reunion and said that you wasn't at the hospital, when I swear I heard that girl say, me and whoever she was with was at the hospital earlier that day. So that's what I heard. Y'all let me know. They get on Heather. And Heather is talking about her being newly divorced and being single mom. And she's saying she is the first person in, I think, 4 generations of her family to be divorced, right? I guess they just stuck it out or whatever. And then they talk about her and Lisa not remembering her. And Lisa, you sounded real, I don't know how y'all go to school together. You didn't know her. You were able to say that she was the good time girl or whatever, but then say you didn't meet her until 2017, and then say I really don't know her. But to Heather's point, why the hell would you recommend someone that you had no clue about for a television show? You had to know her some kind of way for you to recommend her. Like, come on, Lisa. I was like, Lisa, girl, shut up. Shut up. You trying to be funny. I think that Lisa has a problem with Whitney and Heather because they are no longer involved in the Mormon church. I believe that from the base that she is judging them based on that. That's what I feel. That's what I feel. She says that she wants herself to be free of fear and shame, and she wants her daughters to explore their sexuality. She wants her daughters not to have the experience that she had. And everybody's looking all shocked, but why not? Like, why not? Why not? Why do you not want your child? You saw what happened on Bridgerton. The mother told the child nothing, and she didn't even know what the hell a goddamn orgasm was. None of that. None of that. None of that. So if you are giving your daughters education and telling them safely how to do things, and she says we have the conversations, I talk to them, I want them to live their life. Period. I was like, okay, Heather. All right, Heather, I agree. I agree with it. I totally agree with it. It's all about education. It's all about safety, all about letting them know how to protect themselves, all of that. But you're not going to tell them that they don't have a right to explore what is natural to them. It's a natural part of evolution. Okay? So they talked about Heather, Lisa saying that Heather has an inflated ego. And they were like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, can you project any harder, Lisa? Like, what the hell? I didn't know what was wrong with Lisa. I have maybe she was just, her anxiety was up, but she was really like being high strung. It's just too much. I was like, girl, sit down. Can you go smoke? They probably don't. I was going to say, do Utah let you is cannabis legal in Utah? But I'm thinking about Colorado. Utah, no. No, I don't know. I'm not, don't give me the line. Here, I can look it up real quick, but I don't care. Okay. They asked, was Meredith, not Meredith, girl, these names, was Heather mouthy or mousy? And Lisa was like, because I'm mouthy. Girl, we can tell. You don't have to tell us you're mouthy, girl. You don't. We can tell. I don't know her well enough. Yes, exactly. You recommended her. That was stupid to me. What did y'all think about that? I was like, Lisa, shut the fuck up. You recommended her. There's no way you would recommend a complete stranger for a television show. With as type A as you are, and as a control freak or as you are, you would not have allowed somebody to come into this circle, a person that you did not know. Come on. I didn't know you. Girl, okay. Heather was like, the more you talk, the more you crucify yourself. Go for it, sis. I was like, okay. Heather was done with Lisa. So then they get on, Heather, Jen, and Lisa and Meredith, and kind of talking about the relationship, on Heather thinking that Jen was trying to, be friends with them and not be friends with Heather and Whitney, almost as a social type of climbing type of deal. Like, you're going to leave us alone and you're going to be hanging out. She was like, because you attacked everybody but Lisa. So what is it? But then I thought, okay, so why is Whitney and Heather? Now, I don't know if y'all caught it, but they kept saying that Lisa was scared of Jen, right? But Jen has never directly attacked Lisa. So is she scared of her, or does Jen want to be close to Lisa based on her standing in their, Salt Lake City environment? I didn't get that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Oh my God, I almost have died. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I didn't understand that. I was like, okay, does she not like her? Is she scared of her? If she's scared of her, besides her behavior, what would make Lisa scared of her? Jen never attacked her. Jen never came for her. Maybe Jen doesn't come for Lisa because Lisa was her in to this environment, because Lisa is the anchor here, which it seems more like Jen is, but Lisa is how everybody knows each other. So I'm trying to figure out. So anyways, they wanted to know why was she jealous about that? And Jen's like, it's not true. She was like, I felt like based on how Jen was acting online and how, before the show, she was showing who she was loyal to. And it was more so Lisa. She was like, I felt like Whitney wasn't good enough. Lisa put me down. And she was like, and that's what Whitney said about Lisa, that she felt like Lisa put her down. And she was like, and that's the goddamn truth. I felt the same way. Like I said earlier, I just feel like Lisa judges Whitney and Heather. I really do. Lisa kept saying she cares about Jen Shah. And then she was like, but over Meredith, that's what Heather said. And she was like, no, I didn't say that. She didn't. So I felt like I didn't know what was going on between Heather and Whitney and Lisa. It's something else that's happening that I feel like I'm missing. I don't know. Y'all, I don't know. It's something missing. I don't get it. Anyways, they're arguing and it's not even, nobody's asking questions. Andy is sitting on his phone and Lisa is yelling at Heather, talking about, well, we could just move forward. She was like, I don't want to move forward with you. I'm good. And she was like, in her phone, she was like, no, I don't want to move forward with you. Then she mentions Meredith she's taking enough hits, right? And then she was like, for me? And she was like, no, I didn't even say that. You're taking everything personally. So I felt like Heather was fucking with Lisa in a way that I really couldn't pinpoint. Like maybe she just, it was something that Heather was doing and Lisa was just couldn't take it. I was like, Lisa, calm down. But she was just like so amped about what Heather was saying. And I don't know if Heather was trying to make it seem like Lisa was being a bad friend to Meredith. But did we see Lisa be a bad friend to Meredith? I'm trying to figure out what the hell Heather is talking about. So that's what I'm missing. And she was like, we don't talk about you. We don't talk about you. You're just all in your head. And I tried, but it's not worth it. And all you do is interpret things in the worst way. And then she was like, I hate drama. It hasn't been beneficial. She was like, well, then stop talking and go sit down. I was like, bitches are crazy. She goes, I need to go see my husband because all of this is negative in here. And then she's like literally crying to her husband. I was like, Lisa, calm the fuck down. But I guess she was upset because Heather was trying to make it seem like she wasn't going to bat for Meredith. But I was like, I haven't seen where she needed to. So I don't get it. So I don't understand what's going on. And then she said, John, I'd love to be friends. I don't know what she was saying. It's not beneficial. I guess the friendships. She's like, I don't have friendships like these. That's rough like that. And that's another thing about these reality shows. It's just like how much these women are around each other and how it affects being in conflict so much. That's why I really hope that we get away from constant conflict, because I imagine not only for me as the viewer watching it, but for the actual talent or the cast, their nervous systems, putting themselves through that all of the time, can literally wear you down. And I don't understand. Like on Love and Hip Hop, I used to say, like, you would feel like you needed to be in a consistent fight or flight mode. That's how I felt with, it's like, you can't be calm. You have to be always on high alert. And I feel like it does such a disservice to the cast members to constantly be around people they don't get along with, because you cannot even relax. You can't relax. And I really hope they get away. Let's kind of show more, like even with like all of them, all the shows, all of the constant conflict, I just think it's just too much for everybody. But anyways, that was the end of the episode. We'll see what's going to happen next week. Like I said, half of it was Mary and the other half was Heather and Lisa going at it. At one point, Whitney was sitting there with her hands in her pockets and she was just looking like, bitch, I don't have nothing to do with Heather. Heather don't have nothing to do with me. And what I do like about Heather and Lisa is they really don't act like they're scared. Like they're just be like, bitch, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking? I just love the way that picture of Whitney with her hands in her damn dress. And she was just sitting there. She was like, Heather don't have nothing to do with me. Oh, and then we also found out that Whitney's husband is the same age difference as Robert and Mary. And I felt like, did you guys also feel like Mary and Whitney kind of like had a thing? I don't know. I felt like they kind of like each other for real. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen on the next episode. Tell me what you guys think. Honey, Heather and Lisa, tell me what you guys thought about them arguing that whole time and Andy sitting over to the side acting like he really was like, I don't have nothing to do with this. This don't have nothing to do with me. This is my life, but it don't have nothing to do with me. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other. Protect your energy. Peace.